Wonder Woman 1984 is not going to be a strict sequel to the first movie. The director has made it clear that in this upcoming sequel, we will see Diana Prince deal with new threats and a new world order. And Maxwell Lord, who is being played by Game of Thrones star Pedro Pascal, is one of the central pieces in this new story. We have already talked about the other villain, Cheetah, in one of our previous videos. So today we are going to talk about the main villain, Maxwell Lord, as he is not someone that you might be aware of, but he has one of the most fascinating backstories and a unique set of powers that makes him such a menacing threat to Wonder Woman and her ideal set of world values.
Tough luck.
When the character first debuted in the comics, Maxwell Lord had no special abilities, but later on he goes on to become a meta-human as a result of an alien invasion. Maxwell acquired a cool set of powers as a result of being a meta-human. Basically, DC's meta-humans are like X-Men from the Marvel universe. Maxwell's powers allows him to telepathically influence people's mind, which is basically incepting ideas and suggestion to other people's mind in such a way that they feel these ideas were their own. Now this is something like what we saw in the movie Inception, but the difference here is that Maxwell can do that without going through 3 layers of dreams. And he has used these powers of his very strategically over the years. There was one time when he had convinced Superman that Wonder Woman was killing his love of life, Lois Lane, which completely snaps Superman and sends him on a rampage. To save Superman and the world, Wonder Woman finally had to resort to the last option, that is killing Maxwell Lord. So it would be interesting to see how he uses his powers in Wonder Woman 2. But these powers come at a cost, since using these powers causes Max's nose to bleed and requires great mental focus and pain. If you are looking for a reference, then I suggest 11 from the Stranger Things. Over time, Maxwell Lord's powers have grown to the point where he can take full control of other beings, including the ones like Superman. But this often requires a great deal of time and patience on his behalf to establish the necessary level of control. Even though Wonder Woman killed him, the character was resurrected following a Justice League story, where he prepared to erase the world's memories of his past criminal actions. In order to survive the trauma to his brain, he placed his body in a large bathtub of ice and hooked himself to a blood transfusion machine. However, things didn't go as per plan, to say the least. In DC Rebirth reboot, Maxwell Lord is reintroduced as having been a meta-human since early youth. His primary powers are tweaked, and now he is capable of just powerful psychic persuasion, which works best paired with a vocal command. So basically his powers have been knocked down significantly. Now he can't make people believe in things that he could have done earlier. For example, the thing with the Superman. His current power works by exploiting and promoting people's underlying desires and inhibitions, and thus it doesn't give him outright control over them, as he can only push them to act on their own subconscious wants. For example, at one point of time, he made Deadshot kill his daughter because of Deadshot's subconscious desire to be free to kill anyone. But that said, Maxwell still retains a low level of mind and thought reading capabilities, which is more supernatural than psychological science. So given these powers, you can now pretty much guess what to expect from the movie. One of the many things that we can be pretty sure about is the possibility that it will be Maxwell Lord who sends Barbara and Minerva down the path that ends up in her being transformed as the Cheetah. And his powers might be the explanation of how Steve Trevor, Wonder Woman's love interest, is back from the dead. I have done a separate video on that, the link will be in the upper right corner. Here let's just talk about what does Maxwell Lord want, what's his character motivation? Well, Maxwell Lord was the son of a wealthy and benevolent businessman who wanted to be a role model for his son. But the death of Lord's father sent Maxwell down a cynical path, where he started believing that power was the most important thing in the world. Maxwell Lord believes that people need to be controlled, and he thinks that this philosophy of his applies to superheroes more than anyone else. Max has always felt that heroes like Superman and Wonder Woman can pose a great threat to the world if gone unchecked. So basically he wants some sort of Sokovia cards like Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU. Maxwell Lord has tried to manipulate his way through the world by using his money and the special psychic powers. At one point he used his money and influence to bring together the Justice League. He wanted them to become his pawns so that he could use them to take over the world. But again, things didn't go exactly as per plan. And with that, we'll bring this video to an end. Thanks for watching and let us know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more upcoming content.